maybe some of that inflammation, maybe some of that inner fight, that inner turmoil is not just the diet and the lifestyle. Maybe it's that we're blocking this energetic feminine flow because we're just trying to white knuckle our way through life.
Welcome to the Biohack Method. I am Lindsay Burwell. I break down the science, cut the fluff, and give you real tools to optimize your body with peptides, transdermal patches, and root cause biohacking that actually works.
How are you?
Hi, good. How are you? Nice to meet you.
So great to meet you. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to have you on. And I know we just met on Instagram, so I applaud you for hopping on a stranger's podcast.
I trust my intuition, so.
That's so good. I'm such an intuitive person too. And it's funny because I feel like it's been up until hit my 30s where I started embracing it and not being ashamed of my intuition or think that I was too far out there. I love that I came across your page because I'm me personally, I'm in this journey of really exploring my own feminine energy and having some realizations of how I've shut it off really. And I think this is common for a lot of women, with hustle culture, with women needing to be strong and build this defense mechanism, this guard around us that really just block intuitive and energetic flow that we were designed to have. And so I'm just in this season of learning more about that and peeling back the layers and even just softening up to allow some of that just natural feminine flow to come through. And so as I've been diving into that, I found your Instagram and I was like, oh my gosh, this is speaking to me. And then I saw that you were moving to Florence for a while, which I think I was leaving the airport when I saw your Instagram getting to the airport, you were moving in. And I'm like, this is so wild. And so, yeah, I just thank you for coming on. And I just would love to, one, get to know your story and get to know what got you to move to Florence. What were all the different moving pieces that prompted you to live this eat, pray, love lifestyle? And what has been your journey to almost looks like you're really honoring and serving other women to tap into that feminine energy and that transformation, probably similar to your own. So if you could just totally dive in and share your story and about you, and it could just be girlfriends chatting and getting to know each other and talking all things.
Sure, of course. Just to start, I moved to Florence just for a few months. I live in New York City,
Yeah.
and my daughter is having a semester abroad in Florence. So yeah, and I had the dream. My daughter's in a way living my dreams, which
Yeah.
is an amazing thing because I've done a lot of generational trauma healing, and to see my daughter shine and live the life fully, so much embodying the feminine already,
Yeah.
which I, at that age, when I was 19, 20 years old, I definitely was not. So I came to America as an immigrant when I was 17 years old. And as a child, as a little girl, which I think all of us girls, we have the feminine energy embedded in us. We all do that. We all have that. And I certainly my inner child, my teenager, I was always loved the feminine. I was very creative. I was intuitive. I was spiritually curious when I was a teenager, all of the things. And then when I came to America, and I'm going to bring it to Italy because it's very interesting to see how different parts of the world carrying certain vibration, certain frequency. And when I moved to America, in America, it's all about more, but more achievements, titles, check boxes, all the things, and never feeling satisfied, right? So I got sold on an American dream
Yeah.
that, I mean, for a reason, especially when you come in an immigrant, you want to have money so you can afford things and do things, right? So I really fell into that story, and I went to business school and I went to get my degree in finance and then my MBA and ended up working on Wall Street for many years.
Yeah.
In a very masculine hustle culture, in a way, even toxic masculine, I want to say. And then I had spiritual awakening. That's what I call spiritual awakening because but by the time I was 30 years old, I was a VP on Wall Street. I had two children. I was married, checked all the boxes.
Yeah.
but inside something was missing. Like I was not fulfilled. And I
Mhm.
couldn't figure out what it was because I've done what society is telling you to do in order to be happy, like climb that first mountain, and it didn't give me what it was promising. Like it didn't give me that fulfillment. So luckily, I had a spiritual awakening that took me on a journey. That was more than a decade ago. On my second mountain, when I said, okay, I wanted to rediscover myself. Who am I really? What am I here for? Am I really just be sitting in the office and managing what I was doing? But am I more like there's more to life? And
Yeah.
Italy, I remember even in my 20s, I wanted to go to Italy to study abroad and I couldn't afford it because I was like working two jobs to pay for my business school.
Yeah.
And then I end up working in a corporate, and it's like in America, like I get vacations 2, 3, 4 weeks. And every year I would spend that time traveling. I love traveling, but I always had a dream that I wanted to be living quote unquote local somewhere, especially in Italy, because I love fashion, I love food, like I love all the pleasures of what Italy is all about, the art and beauty, like walking the beauty way. And I couldn't afford I hadn't have time, I didn't have resources, like I couldn't do all of that before. But
Mhm.
now that I stopped in, like I left my corporate world a few years ago, I became a coach. I started to work online. And
Mhm.
now I can travel, I can work. Like I'm recording this podcast with you. It's Sunday night. Like I've spent a beautiful day walking around the city and writing and doing the things. And then like, oh, I'm gonna hop on podcast. Tomorrow morning, I have first thing I have a client call, but like my coaching client call. Like I'm doing the work, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like work at all
Yeah.
because I'm sharing, like I want more and more women to
Yeah.
really understand the beauty of the feminine energy and how it is an edge, a competitive advantage is something that we're all seeking and looking for.
Yeah.
So once you activate it, it doesn't even matter. Like you don't have to move to Italy.
Yeah.
You can still be wherever you are, but you can live life where you wake up in the morning and you feel good about yourself. And
Yeah.
you spend days feeling good and falling asleep being grateful for your life. That would be my message to any woman.
Yeah. And so tell me, like, what was the turning point for you? Like you said, you had the spiritual awakening. Was it like in your 30s that like just made you
Yes.
finally take that leap of faith? And like, what was that shift and what did that look like? Because I think thinking about like women that I work with who might be listening to this podcast and who might just be feeling that too. And just to back up a little bit,
Yeah.
in the work that I do, so I'm a holistic practitioner. So what my core work is working with women who feel stuck, like with their metabolism, their inflammation. They feel like they are doing all the things, they're eating healthy, they're exercising, but they don't feel good in their body. So one of the things I'll work with them on is like root cause, what's causing the inflammation from like a nutrient perspective, vitamins, minerals, like where they might be deficient, if they have any parasites or mold, bacteria, any kind of environmental interferences blocking their energy flows. So we can dive deep that way. But what I find a lot on these scans is that a lot of women are pulling adrenals, emotions, aka anxiety, and something that I've been really coaching on is health is not just what you eat and the workouts that you do, right? We are so much more energetic, spiritual, emotional beings. And so much of that part of the puzzle is ignored, right? Because we wake up and it's work out and eat this for breakfast and eat this for lunch and work. And or we don't allow space for like mindfulness and intentionality and slowing down, because like you said, slowing down and not doing enough feels like you're failing. If you're not checking the box, you're failing. If you're not accomplishing, you're failing. Even just like doing nervous system regulation work, tapping into your intuition, tapping into that feminine energy. And so what like I want women to hear right now is maybe some of that inflammation, maybe some of that inner fight, that inner turmoil is not just the diet and the lifestyle. Maybe it's that we're blocking this like energetic feminine flow because we're just trying to white knuckle our way through life. And so I'd love to hear from you, like, what was that brave leap of faith to like almost break free from like one, create the awareness, but two, like break free of that whole thought process, that whole like jail thought of you got to do it. Maybe you don't need to do it. Maybe we need to pivot our lifestyle. Maybe we need to change our environment. Maybe that means changing your job or changing where you live or whatever. I'm so curious for you what that was, what that looked like.
That's such an excellent question. First I want to say this just answers why I'm on this podcast with you, because I want to salute you for recognizing being a health coach, recognizing that the root cause is not just in the physical body, because we're first and foremost energetic beings. So anything that happens inside the body, any inflammation, burnout, first and foremost, created energetically. So when we don't process emotions, and especially for women, it has a direct correlations with our emotions. So in order for us to do any biohacking, any reverse aging, anti-aging, whatever you want to call it, it's in the energy field. It's first and foremost in our aura. Like all these emotions that we carry that we don't process it's like a stuck light within us, which create a shadow. Maybe you've heard of the shadow work, what it is, right? Like it's making sure that you process your emotions and you let go of any fears, resentment, shame, guilt, any of those unprocessed things that we all women carry. And it also has to do a lot with this feeling of unworthiness. Because no matter how much we achieve, we always feel like we're not enough. And I used to call myself an overachiever, and it does tie to childhood. It does tie to so many things, how the upbringing really worked out for us. But a lot of us women on a path that we call ourselves ambitious, high achieving, like all of it, right? At some time, like it's great maybe in your 20s, but the time you're like in your 30s, that's what happened to me. The inflammation, the burnout, the stress, the hormones, the gaining of the weight, the wine every night or every other night, like you want to just have a glass because you want to really, you don't know how to manage that stress. So you are drained. Like all of the things that you just mentioned, it's a byproduct of a lifestyle where we're constantly in a doer mode. So to answer your question about spiritual awakening, and I'm a coach right now helping women go through spiritual awakening. And I've been pounding on this question, contemplating on this question for the past decade. How do I help women awake? And because when I went through my awakening, I was trying to awake everybody. I was trying to share this information with everybody. And I've lost friends. People would thought I was crazy. Like people would not resonate. I'm like, where's this button that I can press on people's bodies that they can awake? And I don't have that power. Nobody does, because awakening really comes by grace, or it comes in those moments where the pain is so strong that you rather go into a change than remain where you are, because the pain is it's more painful to stay where you are than the painful to go into overcome the fears to go into unknown, right? For me, as I mentioned, like I was always spiritually curious, like since my teenage years. My mom was actually a Western doctor, but she loved like the natural medicine. She loved Louise Hay. She introduced me to the Louise Hay's book, like The Power of the Mind and Affirmations, when I was a teenager. And I couldn't really believe it. I'm like, Mom, come on. But then like I read the books like Alchemist, Conversation with God, like early on, like I'm talking about 20, 30 years ago. But then I was still asleep in the world because I was working so much, raising children, working so much. And I get it with all of us women, like we don't even have time to meditate. We don't even have time to relax. We don't even have time. And we think like self-care. Yes, you can go and get the pedicures and the manicures and maybe massages every once in a while. It's not enough. This is not this is just self-care. It's not a self-love. It's not like we need more. We need more things that we can manage our stress and really sit in stillness and really get reconnected with ourselves. My story is that, as I mentioned, like the awakening, it comes by grace, or it can come through a catalyst event, losing a job, a health crisis, an accident. Usually for us women, when it comes to relationship, I have a lot of women coming to me because there's something happening in their relationships. And they're like, oh, I want to understand like what's going on with my self-worth. Why am I not feeling confident? What happened in my relationship that I lost this partner or whatnot? And also spiritual awakening can come through meeting of a teacher. About more than a decade ago, I was still working on Wall Street, and we had Deepak Chopra, maybe you know the spiritual teacher. He came to our corporate office, and the company that I worked at, we managed money of high net worth individuals, and I had connection with all sorts of people. And then we invited celebrities, people that were known in whatever industry, every industry across the board. So they invited Deepak Chopra to have a conversation with the most ambitious people in New York City, sitting on Wall Street, mostly men with me. He had a conversation about enlightened leadership. What does it take? What kind of qualities you have to be a leader that other people are inspired by you, follow you, believe in you, like all these qualities. And as I was taking notes, I'm like, oh my God, that was resonating within me. But I felt I was miles away from being an enlightened leader. Yes, I was a manager. Yes, I managed a global team, but I didn't feel like I'm inspiring people. I didn't feel all of that. And as I was going through this conversation with us, I felt this activation. No, people can trigger us or they can activate us, which is the way the same thing. It's just what's different is how you're going to take that information.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of women right now in the coaching space and then on Instagram and whatnot. People can look at, like, for example, you found me on a page and you got inspired, you got activated, like inviting me on a podcast. Other can find me and be triggered by me and unfollow me and think, who does she think she is? You know what I mean? Like, it all depends on the vibration of a person on another end, right? So I was ready at that moment as I was listening to Deepak that I want to be an enlightened leader. And at the end of the presentation, again, sitting in the audience with the 200 most ambitious, mind-driven men, mostly men, me, sitting in that audience, we started to meditate. And meditation was very simple. He said, say, I am in your name. I am your name. I am your name. And then drop the name and keep saying, I am, I am, I am. And as I was saying this, I felt almost like an out-of-body kind of experience. I felt so expansive in my energy. I felt such a bliss from just being like in a very hectic morning on Wall Street to the, like, during lunch, we had this presentation, this fireside chat. I almost had a spiritual awakening. In a way, I was having a spiritual awakening in that moment. And when I came back, I was like, and the reason for this meditation, I am in your name. And when you drop the name, or when you drop all the titles, when you drop all the roles as a mother, like for example, at that moment, a mother, a wife, a boss, a daughter, like whatever those labels and masks, and I don't want to say just like some of those qualities I love, some of those aspects of me I love, right? But there's more to us. And I think that's what all women are seeking. We know how to be boss babes, but we don't know how to be wise women, wizards, mystics, lovers, lovers of life, not just lovers of man, like lover, like sensual, intuitive, creative. Like I was searching for it, missing that so much. And then that moment I said, I decided, and everything starts with a choice. Whoever's listening to this podcast right now, just know that everything starts with a choice. You choosing that today you can make a decision that you want to change something in your life. So that would happen to me. And that I came that night to my home and I told my husband, something happened. I'll never be the same. And the next few days, I had a spiritual teacher come into my life. Books started dropping off the shelves. All the synchronicity started aligning.
We got into the quantum field, right? Where energy, you were attracting that energy to come in. That is so amazing. That is so profound.
Because the little shift in your vibration can completely shift you to a very different timeline. So I think it's just, I know it because I've experienced it so many times.
Totally. Same here. Like I would say 3-4 months ago, I went to this conference and I thought it was going to be all about health and biohacking. And really the core message and experience of this conference was about forgiveness and about meditation, forgiveness of yourself and things that you have held on with shame and guilt, right? But forgiveness of other people that may have harmed you, hurt you, whatever. And I came out of that in such a quantum shift. I couldn't believe it because I would like feel the energy of someone I hadn't met yet, but felt like I met them. And then their physical body would come in my life. There were like opportunities and conversations where I was like, this conversation is only happening because I'm in this like literal different timeline in quantum shift. It's so powerful. And I feel like a lot of people don't get how to get there. So here's my next question to you. So you had this like spiritual awakening, right? You realize like this whole accomplish and do and be and go is like not serving me. And I want to embody more of, I want to honor and embody like more of that feminine energy and my intuition and that flow. So what advice would you give to women to start taking those steps? Because I know a lot of women are probably listening to this, and even me, like I'm learning along this journey too. I'm curious, like what would you encourage or recommend to get from like this accomplish and check mark and got to do and got to be in order to feel successful and worthy to be more free and softer? And I loved how you said like more sensual and like the wizard, right? And these are words I feel like women are like scared to even say, like me being sensual, me being sexy, me being like me having any kind of wizard flow to me. Like I feel like we're so trapped in these hard, rigid bodies that we don't even like saying it out loud can feel like a leap. So what would be some like encouraging steps forward to start softening and stepping into that more feminine self?
Yeah, first of all, I want to acknowledge the fear because the fear is real. It wasn't safe for us and it ties to many lifetimes and generations, and maybe you've heard of like a witch wound and
Yeah.
all those things that have happened historically to women, and we carry, whether you believe in past lives or you carry it in yourselves through the generations. And I came from a feminine lineage of very strong women, but there was also a lot of hurt. So
Yeah.
I needed to do a lot of reprogramming and healing of my nervous system, of my whole being, in order for me to feel safe to go there or even feel safe to speak about it. I remember first time going live on Instagram speaking about spirituality, I was literally shaking. I was shaking because I was afraid. And this is not a lifetime to be afraid. Like this, I just want to tell everybody, like this is the lifetime where we get to shine and really experience fully embodied feminine essence.
Yeah.
And it's not just, again, being sexy, it's about sensuality and like tying it to Italy, right? Experiencing sensuality is experiencing all senses and not just in a sixth sense, right? It's the taste, the smell, the sight, like all of those things, and also the sixth sense, the intuition. So intuition comes in, we start listening to intuition when we're very much attuned with our body. So
Yeah.
intuition is our soul speaking through our body. So sometimes it comes as like this gut feeling, maybe like a goosebump. Like everybody's experiencing it differently, right? Because there are different clears. You can be a clairvoyant, you can have a vision maybe in your dreams. You can be clairsentient, you could have a feeling. I'm claircognizant. I just know things. Like I don't know how I know it. I just know, and it always served me right. And knowing and having that connection to intuition, you're always gonna read the red flags, know what decisions to make for your family. You can be such an asset for your partner because we women, when we activate our intuition, we become oracles for our families, for our
Yeah.
husbands, for the decision making in our families. It's such an asset. Like women are afraid of being feminine, and I know it ties to generational traumas that needs to be healed, but it's so possible to heal, and it's such a beautiful thing to embody, not just to look externally in a certain way, but to feel within you.
Mm-hmm.
So the process of getting there, it's not a quick fix. I can tell you maybe 5 steps to, how in the coaching industry, five steps to enlightenment.
Yeah.
You can have 5 steps to enlightenment, but they're probably going to take some time. I think of it as there are different phases that the woman has to go through.
Okay, quick pause because I need to tell you about something that is literally changing the game for metabolism, energy, detox, and even your immune system. You guys know I don't like to waste my time on gimmicks. And also, after seeing so many clients that are just tired of taking the pills, not knowing if their body's even absorbing it, and transparently trying to help my kids detox from all the toxins, I just needed a different approach. And that's why I created the patch method. These are transdermal supplement patches, which means no pills, no powders, no gut breakdown. Literally just stick it on and let your body absorb exactly what it needs, whether it's detox, metabolism, energy, or like I said, even your immune system. We have a patch for it. It's truly biohacking made simple. And the best part, you actually feel the difference. So if you're ready to level up your health routine, make it so simple, head to thepatchmethod.com, grab your patches. Trust me, you will never look at supplements the same way again.
And for us women, our femininity center sits with the womb. So it's a lot has to do with the womb healing, right? The womb healing, feeling more sensual, feeling more safe. It's a nervous system regulation. It's working with the body. It's a lot of things that you do as well, right? It's the gut healing of the gut that has a connection to your mind, then has a connection to your heart. We electromagnetic being, like electric being the masculine, nervous system, the mind, magnetic being the heart, having the coherence between the two. It's the spending time by yourself in stillness. It's the meditation. It's walking in nature. It's grounding. Like the little things that anybody can do during the day, even starting your morning with a little ritual. And I know, like, sometimes when women say, I don't have time, we always have time. Like, we have time to scroll our phones, right? Like, we have time. And I was raising two children, living in New York City, taking the subway to work an hour each way, working for 10, 12 hours a day. And I still found time because I knew at that moment there is nothing more important than me, my body, my soul, activating all those parts of me and healing myself and becoming fulfilled, becoming embodied within my soul. Like I decided this is the most important thing for me in my life that back then, and it continues paying the dividends. It's the most important ROI, like the most important investment you'll ever make.
Totally.
Highest return on your investment is invest in you, which is time, resources, all of the things.
Yeah.
But it starts with anybody saying yes. It's a choice that every woman make.
I would love to know too. First, I definitely want you to share like how women could work with you to take these steps forward. But I'd love to know before that, even since you've been doing this work, and this work, and I know you would agree, like it's ongoing, it's forever, right? It's not like you did it and now you did the work and now you're embodied and enlightened. It's like a journey every day to make that decision, right? To not let yourself close back up and not let yourself buy back into that hustle culture, etc. How would you say this has changed your relationship with your husband and your kids, like, or even friendship? So think of Elena 10, 20 years ago when you were working Wall Street and you were in that just hard shell versus who you are today. I would love to be inspired of like how that has changed your relationships in everyday life.
Yeah. So I've been married for more than 20 years. I'm celebrating in 6 months. It's 25 years since I met my husband. So he's my soulmate. I went through this whole journey with him. And he's not necessarily like a spiritual kind of guy. Like he's not. I always joke, like he does the best job pretending to be human. Like he's pretty connected. Like he can meditate and he has visions, like he has all the things, but he doesn't do the embodiment work the way I do it. Like he's very different. But what I notice is that when we women do the work, we activate man's highest potential. It's a byproduct.
Yes.
And this is what advice I would want to give it, because in the beginning, I wanted him to do the work with me. Like, I'm like, let's go on a retreat together. Let's meditate every morning together. Let's do the yoga together. Chill. Do your thing. I'm supporting you fully. But he did go on a retreat with me in Peru. Like he did he did some ceremonies with me. He would meditate with me, but he doesn't necessarily doing it at the extent that I'm doing it, because at some point, it was clear to me that I'm not just doing it for me. I'm going to be a coach, also a healer and a mentor to other people, which means I have to be complete. Like this is right now a lifestyle to be an integrity, to be that vessel, to be that channel for other people. So I take this work very seriously. So definitely my relationship with him has changed in a way that if I were to remain on Wall Street and be in that masculine shell, I don't think my marriage would survive, because we would be both in a masculine. And when you're both in your masculine, it's constantly, you both want to be in control and you always want to get your point across and you're always fighting. Like you're always fighting. And when women are exhausted from hustling and doing all the work, she's not in her feminine, and same with kids as well. It's like a mothering energy. And when people think about mothers is very feminine and nurturing, yes, but mothering energy in itself is also masculine, because in a dynamic between a child and a mother, the mother has to be in the masculine and a child is in the feminine, because the child is receiving and the mother is the one providing, because the masculine energy, it's the dynamic. It exists within us, that energy. It's not that I'm a woman and I'm always in my feminine. I
Yeah.
love to be my masculine as well, but it has to be balanced. So
Yes.
when I balanced it within me, it got balanced within my kids, it got balanced within my husband, it got balanced with the dynamic of our family between four of us
Yeah.
in a very beautiful way.
Yeah.
So definitely being in your feminine again pays the highest dividend, as I said. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And again, like I'm raising a son and a daughter. My daughter is about to turn 20, my son is 16. And watching these teenagers, their relationship with me, how much they trust me, how much
Mm.
they see me go through this huge change, also shows them that you can change your life completely from where you were before. Like it's inspiring for them as well. Yeah.
And so incredible for your kids to see too, especially your daughter to see, to be modeled. Like you don't need to buy into this culture of like accomplishment and success.
Yeah.
You can soften and like you can flow and you can honor and like even just educating her on what feminine energy is. I didn't even know what feminine energy was until
Me
recently.
either.
Yeah, until honestly, like recently, until like I heard of it and I was like, I don't even know what that means. But I had my own kind of awareness that had been operating honestly in my masculine energy my whole life. Like my whole life, I could get a little emotional, but my whole life, I've been very like, do accomplish. Like when I was 16, I graduated college or high school 2 years early, always ran marathons. I've just, in my life, like I have really embedded my value and self-worth with my accomplishments. And it totally has created like this shell of like rigidity. And I do also, I feel like I'm soft. I feel like I'm fun. I'm very outgoing. I'm very bubbly, but I really do. I realize I live a lot in my masculine, big energy. And I noticed recently that it can clash with my husband. And my husband is amazing. We've literally been together since I was 16. He's the most amazing guy. And we were literally just talking the other day and he was like, it's hard for me to show up in a masculine loving way when you're coming at me in a masculine way. He was like, when you do that, it makes me want to pull away because I'm like, you're being masculine. I don't want anything to do with that right now. Like it's like a primitive God designed energy that like puts men off. It's like hard for a man to come in when you've got this masculine big energy to reciprocate love and authenticity and just like synergy even, you know what I mean? And so when when it was finally like called out is when I was like, you're right, I am really living in this like this field. And it made me start questioning it just out of curiosity and compassion, because I think sometimes you can judge yourself like, why am I always like this, and then feel shame and guilt. But I was really tender about it and I was like curious, like, why do I live in that state? Why? And what would it look like if I didn't? And why is that scary to maybe make that transition? Does it mean giving up control? Like, why would that be scary? Does it mean giving up the idea that me accomplishing things does not tie into my value? Like, why do I feel like such a tight grip on that? And so I just, full transparency, and a very raw journey of peeling these layers back and learning more and releasing more and softening more. And it's amazing. So I say all that to say, Alina, I would love to know for myself and for like women I work with and anyone listening to this, like if this is like resonating, this story, this experience, if there's something inside that's like screaming, like, I need to do this work too. Like, how could people reach out to you? How could people work with you? What does that look like when you work with women to walk this journey?
Yeah. Thank you so for sharing all of that's exactly the work that I do with women, because that type of pattern, because this high achieving woman pattern, and it doesn't, like you said, you finish high school early, you run marathon, like all of those things. And
Mhm.
sometimes when women say, I don't feel like I'm high achieving because I didn't achieve all these things, it's not even about external achievement. It's like a pattern, even in healing. Even when you start healing, you're like, oh, I need to heal this and this. And
Yeah.
like the list goes on. The pattern doesn't go away for some women. It definitely starts in childhood. So I start a lot of my work with healing the inner child, because
Mhm.
somewhere in your childhood, whether your relationship with, however your relationship with your father were, it's probably somewhere along the line that you decided that you want to be loved, validated. And sometimes when you don't receive that love and validation just by being you, like you're just worthy by being you.
Yeah.
You need to prove your worth by through the grades, through the achievement, through whatever else. Or maybe you need to win love from your father or the mother, however else, right? Like the pattern starts early in the childhood. And then it starts working through, and you cannot even stop. Like right now, it's so embedded in your nervous system that you want to release the grip. You want to let go of control, but it's very hard because you're wired this way. So the
Mhm.
work that I do with women, I work in different capacity. I work one-on-one in a mentorship, whether it's a 3 months or 6 months or 12 months,
Mhm.
whatever the request is, whatever we're healing, whatever we're going through. And I also have a bunch of master classes, healing programs, self-paced that women can take. I have a Healing the Feminine program. I have a master class called Awaken, where I
Mhm.
take you through the 7 stages of awakening and 7 stages of how you can come into your self-mastery, full embodying your feminine. Like I have all sorts of products that you can check out on my website, elenavisionary.com, or you can work with me one-on-one. I
Mhm.
also offer, if you're familiar with such modality called Gene Keys, it's like a
Mhm.
system modality of human design, but I feel like Gene Keys is more feminine. It's based on your birthday. I can pull up your chart and let you know how exactly you're wired. Like, for example, you mentioned forgiveness.
Yeah.
One of my keys that I have to master in this lifetime is forgiveness.
Yeah.
So we come into this world with some sort of a programming, with some
Yeah.
sort of a birth chart of sorts, like the gifts, our challenges, our
Yeah.
shadows. And we go through this journey to uncover what those are. We go
Yeah.
through them. Usually, like we create in our childhood some patterns that we have to then heal, but then we become empowered by healing them. It's beautiful. These human journeys are beautiful. So
So
I help them to see what kind of patterning they have and how they can turn the pain to power, how
yeah.
they can turn the challenges, the shadows into the gifts, into the abilities. And when you do that, you start feeling completely different. And maybe then you step it into your purpose more. Maybe then you find your mission, because we all ultimately, we want to serve, we want to live the life when we are having meaningful lives,
Yeah.
right? But constantly in the programming of our past, it's hard to see and have a blind spot. It's hard to see what those really are for us. So I'm like a torch, I'm like a shining light for women to rediscover themselves. And it can be in one session when you have a breakthrough session with me. It could be in a 6 month we work together. It can
Mhm.
also be to take my self-paced program and do it in your own pace and time, how else you want it. So yeah, I have products you can enter into my world at different stage
I
and different price.
I love that. And I'm going to put your Instagram and your website and everything like on
Yeah,
the show notes so that way anyone can read through and find you super
yeah,
easily. And then, okay, I actually have two more things. So, one, I think it would be so fun if you're open to it. I wish we had time today, but like maybe another time. The Gene Keys thing is so fascinating to me. And I feel like this would be a big eye-opening mode, like really interesting experience for someone to listen into. So if you're ever open to maybe doing one live, like that would be fun to share. Like we could go over
yeah,
mine sometime. But
yeah.
number two, I would love to know for me and like other women listening, I can already hear like the questions coming in. Are there any books like that you would recommend for people that like helped you, like books that you have read that helped you maybe understand what femininity is, feminine energy is, embodiment, like awakening? Were there any pivotal books that also helped shape this journey for you?
So the way I would like to answer this question, when it comes to feminine energy, it's not in the books. It's an
Yeah,
experience. It's in the
I
body,
love
right?
that. I love
So I
that.
actually suggest not to read any books, but really, if you want to embody feminine energy, turn on the music and start dancing.
Oh, I love that. I
Stop
can,
reading the books.
it's so funny you say that because so many times you've talked today, I have wanted to dance, like just flow,
Yes.
let my
Yeah,
body
because
go.
yeah, it's like your Kundalini is awakening.
Ah, no, I do. I just feel this flow coming through me. So it's funny you said that. I love
Yeah.
that.
There are definitely a lot of books. Like the book that really opened up my mind from the perspective to know, like, I am not my mind, was the book Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. A lot
Yeah.
of people probably know this teacher, this healer, this amazing. spiritual teacher. So when I was reading that book, I was getting so many activations.
Yeah.
I would read this book and fall asleep because it's so high vibrational. And in that book, I realized I'm not my mind. Like these thoughts in my mind,
Yeah.
this inner critic, it's not who I am. It's my
Yeah.
ego. And
Yeah.
ego is epigenetic overlay over my soul. It's just it's the programming of my human.
Mhm.
I'm so much more than that. So
Yeah.
that was the thing that I had through that book, The Power of Now. So just shift my mind more into my body, into my heart, but
Mhm.
embodying feminine. It's in the movement, it's in the body, it's an experience,
Yeah.
not through reading books.
Oh my gosh, that's so powerful. I love that. So, how long are you in Florence? You said for a couple months.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm here through October. I'm here through October.
and what is your goal while you're there? Because you said it, your daughter is there studying, right?
Yeah, so my daughter's here studying. I rented Airbnb, so I am by myself in an apartment. My husband came with me
Yeah.
for a few weeks and then he left because we also have a son in New York in high school.
Yeah.
So I'm here with my daughter. He's home with our son. But I'm here to start writing my book.
Yeah.
I have a download for my book came into my essence, my being, my mind few years ago,
Yeah.
but I was postponing it because I was going through some other things in my life. And I feel like I am in this stage of my life when I'm ready to share the story
Yeah.
of my life, my feminine lineage, my many things.
Yeah.
So I started to write my book and I work because I can work from anywhere. I
Yeah.
still take coaching clients. I'm constantly launching new things. I just launched the new masterclass called Awaken. I'm inviting anybody to take it. I think it's a very great way to get introduced into my world, to what I'm all about. Yeah, I'm still working, but I'm also like enjoying. I'm in my embodiment era.
I
That's what
love
I'm
it.
doing.
When I saw you post, you're like, I'm doing my Eat, Pray, Love. That book, I was so young when that book came out, but it like changed my life. Like it
Yes.
totally just changed my life. That the story of it. And so I love that you shared that.
I'm just doing it in reverse. I'm doing it in reverse because my pray
Yeah.
part of my life was the past 10 years. I've
Yeah.
traveled to Bali, Egypt, Peru, Mount Shasta, Glastonbury. Like I went to all sacred sites all over the world
Yeah.
to activate my feminine codes, remember all these things. And now I'm on my eat part of my journey.
Love it.
I also like because I'm from New York and the movie takes place in like in New York, and I remember that scene when Julia Roberts was talking to her friend. It's like, "What did you have for lunch?" And she's, I don't even remember, salad or something. And I remember this is how I was operating, and when I was working on Wall Street, I
Yeah.
don't even remember what I ate for lunch. I don't even remember what else would happen in my life because I was in such a doer
Mhm.
hustling. Like this has to change. We
Yeah.
only have one life. Well,
One
in this
life.
body, this personality, we have many lives, but in this body, this personality, we only get one life, and I want to experience it to the fullest, to the
Totally.
full.
I always say there's no dress rehearsal for life.
Yeah.
This is it. And do you want to like if what you're doing right now doesn't feel good, like how long are you going to go? Because you just don't know when your last day is, right? And so I love that. The last question I want to end you with, I love asking people because obviously the podcast name is the Biohack Method. And as we kind of share, there's so much more than the health and like the modalities of exercise, et cetera, for biohacking your body, your heart, your soul. So I'm curious for you, Elena, what would you say is like what does your most optimized self, your most biohacked self, if you will, look like? It could be anything, that the work that you're doing, the feeling that you feel when you wake up, but what does that version of you look like?
It's an amazing question. I feel like that version of me is really so much in love with herself, not in an egoistic way, but in a way where you like love yourself and your inner child and
Yeah.
your higher self, your white, like you fully embody those fragments of you within you. Like
Yeah.
I feel like when we women bring these parts of us together, it's the ultimate biohacking
Yeah.
because you can do proteins and amino acids and peptides and
Mhm.
diets and all these things, which is great for the physical body. But when you bring yourself and become whole, all these different archetypes within you, all these different parts of you, this is the ultimate optimization, because we are not just the physical being. We are multidimensional. So
Yeah.
as much as you can bring those parts of yourself within you,
Yeah.
you become unstoppable.
Oh,
And you reverse aging. I feel much better in my mid-40s than I did in my mid-30s.
yeah. That's amazing. Truly. I am so moved by this conversation, and I'm so thankful for my intuition for randomly, I know it wasn't random though, like finding you
Yeah.
online and getting a tapping on my heart to randomly message you on Instagram and prompt an invite to do this even last minute, right? Hey, Sunday, would you be able to hop on a podcast and just chat with me? And I'd love to get to know you. And so that's
Yeah.
where I just like honor myself and that brave, intuitive prompting that I got to reach out to you, because truly this has changed my life. This has inspired me. I can't even wait to tell my husband about it. And I can't wait for this podcast to be edited and aired and for other women to hear it. So I just can't thank you enough. I'm going to be watching your Florence, Italy journey that you're on. I'm probably going to dive deep into all your little master classes too, because this for me is just the beginning of the work that I want to personally do. And I invite all women, truly all women, I invite you all to walk this path, because it's a part of the journey that I think we're really missing, we're ignoring, and we may not even be aware of it. So yes, I just thank you again so much, Alina. And I hope that we can do this again, honestly. Like I would love to do the gene keys with you. I think that would be really fun too. So I'll put your Instagram, your website. That way women know where they can access you and reach out and DM and work with you. But I just thank you so much. This was amazing.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed our conversation and your energy, and I honor you for doing this work, sharing your light, sharing your wisdom, and I see so much more coming into your life. You're just gonna shine, shine, shine. So thank you again for feeling into me and inviting me and giving me an opportunity to share my story and the message for all the women. Thank you so much.
You're the best, Elena. All right. Take care. Have a
That's
great
it
evening.
for today's episode of the Biohack Method. If this lit something up in you, do me a favor, share it, tag me at Lindsay Burwell Wellness, and drop a review. Ready to dive deeper? Head to the show notes for peptides, patches, and programs that are changing the game for high-performing women like you.